The Sonic Truth Dynasty podcast is live, and I'm here with Cody Carpentier, and it is mock draft time. The powers that be at Player Profiler have said it is time for me to do a mock draft with Cody, and so we are now sitting down to do a mock draft. This is going to be 4 rounds, and there's one point I want to make on this. Most people that listen to me mock draft, they will hear me hammer running back and talk about all my theories about why running back offers the most bang for your buck in a rookie draft, all else equal. And so typically it's like, oh, he's just going down the rankings, drafting running backs. This is not that interesting. In this particular mock draft, I am going to be drafting for teams that are loaded at running back. So my teams that I'm drafting for, and it's Cody and I are going to be drafting a 12-person league, 12 teams. He and I are going to be the managers for 6 teams apiece. So that's how we're going to go do this. We're going to go through it, and we're going to go bing, 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 rat-a-tat-tat through 4 rounds. So we're not going to stop. We're not going to do too much filibustering. We are going to get through this. 4 rounds, not 1, not 2, not 3, 4 rounds. If there's time, maybe we'll do 5 rounds. But for me personally, when I'm picking, just know that the teams that I represent 6 teams. Cody represents 6 teams. These teams that I'm drafting for are loaded at running back and have real need at wide receiver. So we are rigging the game for me to draft more wide receivers. And we're doing this on a beautiful Sunday afternoon. And it's nothing I'd rather be doing right now than mock drafting with Cody Carpentier. And before we get started, there is a place to go to draft rookies for money, and you know that is Fast Draft. So the Fast Draft Origins Gamma will be coming out soon. Monday, May 5th, the next big Origins game is being released. It's a $5 game, $5 entry fee, and a $25,000 prize pool. So that's the final details. We've been going back and forth on what this is going to be, exactly the details. Those are the details for you. I know a lot of you have been asking, when's the next Origins tournament coming out? That is it. And use promo code TRUTH to get a $50 deposit match. As of right now, though, you can draft in the Flex 4 game, and still the rookies are not yet fully efficient when you look at the ADPs in the Flex 4 game. So plenty of exploits there. And the D-Up game. And we also have a free game. So if you're in states where they don't allow for fantasy football, like the state of Washington or Nevada, places we're not live yet, like Michigan, you can draft in the Flex 4 free. So if you scroll down on Fast Draft, you'll see Flex 4 free, and you can draft in that. That's for 1,000 promo bucks. And then so maybe you're in Michigan, and by the time you win that tournament, you get the 1,000 promo bucks. Then we're live in Michigan by that time, and it all works out. For now, Cody and I are going to be mock drafting. Cody has the 101 because I'm a nice guy. This is Super Flex. This is tight end premium. That's how we roll. Super Flex tight end premium by default. So Cody, without further ado, it is time to kick this off.
Well, I guess because you're loaded at every position, you're loaded at running back on all of these teams. I'll take Jeanty at the top. Ashton Jeanty, Raiders top 10 pick here. I find it hard to believe that your teams are loaded though with running backs because my teams have pretty good running backs on them already, and there's not enough running backs in the league to go around.
Yeah, that logic doesn't line up, does it?
No.
I'll take the best. So I have 6 teams all loaded at running back, and then your teams are also loaded at running back.
Yeah, there's a problem. There's a flaw there.
Did we break the laws of the physical universe? I think we did. I think Newton and Einstein, they were like, guys, listen, what are you doing?
You can never have too many running backs. So that's like the law of Dynasty. Like, like Mike Zimmer will tell you, like, oh, you can never draft too many defensive backs. Or somebody will tell you can never have too many defensive tackles. You can never have too many running backs in Dynasty. I'll tell you that.
Well, I'm glad so you're going Ashton Jeanty. He's pretty good. Where do you have him ranked for seasonal league? So this year, where do you think Ashton Jeanty is going to score? RB4, RB5? Where do you have him?
I honestly haven't gotten to my seasonal thoughts yet. I just kind of told you before the show, I was like, I think I'm going to pivot towards seasonal stuff here in the next couple of weeks. But as far as like off the dome, seasonal range of outcomes, it would be, obviously he has range of outcomes number 1 overall, but it would be to me, it's going to be between Gibbs, Robinson, Barkley. To a certain extent, I think you can put Jonathan Taylor in that conversation right now. And that's probably where I'm at in that 5.
I can tell you the flex 4 game, he's going at RB4.
5. Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. Like
RB4, I think that's fine. Right? That's probably where he should go, but in this last flex 4 draft that happened on Fast Draft, he didn't get drafted till the second round. So it went Brian Thomas before him, Amon-Ra before him, Malik Neighbors before him, Puka, Nico Collins all went before Ashton Jeanty. That makes no sense in seasonal leagues. Full PPR, half PPR, don't care. Flex 4 happens to be full PPR, but that is nonsense, and that's one of the exploits that's still available on Flex 4 right now. I think it's a debate between Gibbs and Jeanty for RB3.
He'll end as a top 10 pick in redraft, right?
Oh yeah, he has to be. He's definitely a top 10 pick. I mean, it's crazy. Some of these ADPs are crazy. Like they haven't quite fully adjusted yet. It's wild. It's hard for me to build the case for Gibbs over Jeanty, actually. I love Gibbs, and I love his dynamism. I love him, but in terms of just raw opportunity share,
yeah,
there's no way he can compete. There's no way he can compete. So that's what's interesting. You're hoping for some time missed from David Montgomery. Really, to pick Gibbs over Jeanty, you're expecting David Montgomery to miss some games.
Well, I think you're also playing the game where, Detroit's going to be a top 3 scoring offense, and you got the pass catching ability, and you got McCaffrey had D'Angelo Williams. Was Jonathan Stewart gone by then? But he had a back with him for a couple of years in Carolina before he went nuclear by himself. And it's like, I think that, there's a running back in this class we'll talk about maybe the second round, maybe the third round. We'll see when I get him here. But that I think you can tie, like, there's correlation to body types where generally in previous years we would fade away from that body type. But now with the likes of McCaffrey and Kamara and Jahmyr Gibbs hitting, it's like, yeah, I feel like I'm more leaning into that with the high scoring offenses, all the pass catching guys like TreVeyon Henderson, I think, is in that conversation as well. So I get it for sure. But yeah, the Montgomery thing definitely stings because you can really trap yourself with Montgomery playing a full season and ending up with 14 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, someone's going to have to score those touchdowns, and all else equal in Detroit, it's going to be Montgomery. That said, Jeanty, the clear number 1 in all rookie drafts, all formats. It's not Cam Ward. It's not Tetairoa McMillan. It's Jeanty. Hoping for like an 80% opportunity share. It's going to be just fireworks. It's going to be great. I'm going to go Tetairoa McMillan. I know Cam Ward would be an option here for sure, but I love Tetairoa McMillan. I want to build around the rookie wide receiver that checks the most boxes. And the box that he checks that Travis Hunter doesn't check is that he is going to be the clear alpha as of day 1 on his team. He's got a pocket passing quarterback that they're going to have to throw to be competitive in these games. And everything is lining up for one Tetairoa McMillan. He's best comparable to Drake London. I think that's a very close comp and a very logical comp for him. And that's where I'm going. I want wide receiver. I need wide receiver. And if you need wide receiver at all, if you're not very comfortable with all your wide receivers, like your top 5 wide receivers, most of these dynasty teams, these dynasty leagues, they're starting 3 receivers. They have a couple flex positions. It's full PPR. There's going to be weeks where you're going to want to start 5 wide receivers. If you don't have 5 good to great wide receivers, Tetairoa McMillan should be an option here. I would lean McMillan over even a Hampton or a TreVeyon because I know I'm going to be drafting a lot of running backs, And it's fine to go wide receiver, running back, running back, running back. Going running back, wide receiver, running back, not nearly as good. So the cadence, round to round, this is the one round where you can feel good about drafting a wide receiver in rookie drafts. After this, it's a very low probability play. Now, generally, we like to draft running backs, and one of the reasons is that running backs are just more reliable early in their careers in terms of when they get opportunity, you know what they're going to deliver for fantasy output. It's a pretty easy equation you can plug it into. Look at the opportunity share, look at the game script, look at the offense. 17 fantasy points you could project for a starting running back in a particular situation. Wide receiver decides, hey, I'm the guy. I'm a starter. And we have no idea. You can't project what they're going to do. And so that's why, generally speaking, it's better to draft rookie running backs and then trade for veteran wide receivers. If there's one overarching strategy that you can read more about in this book, The Dynasty Dominator, it is that. But because so many of these teams that I'm drafting for in this particular mock draft are so loaded at running back, that also is why we're going to be drafting some more running backs, some more receivers than normal. But even if, no matter where I'm at, no matter what my needs are, as long as I don't have, like I said, a fully stockpiled wide receiver core, at least 5, I want Tetairoa McMillan.
If you're in a draft, and I'm going to ask this question, I'm going to give you a thought here for it. If you're in a draft and you have the 102 and you have the 105, let's say, and the consensus right now on Keep Trade Cut is McMillan is going off 4th in Superflex, and I've gotten him at 7. I know our friend Theo's gotten him at 7 a couple of times. He's fallen to 5, 6 a few times for me. I've also seen him go at 2, like you just took him. So you're saying that
2 is very reasonable.
You're saying you have conviction on just the fact that, and I agree with you. I'm a guy that has not been the biggest Tetairoa McMillan fan, but I've come around quite a bit in the last week on it because it's
just
pretty
in the
clear.
Last week.
No, well, it's not because of the player. It's because of the situation. And this is why, like you always say, it's a Bayesian process. Like I think he's a good football player, but I was not under the impression or the thought that he had the fortitude to go into an offense with, a competing alpha, and that he wouldn't be the kitty cat there. And I think you're looking at this situation where he's going to go in there, and I think Jalen Coker's fantastic. I think Adam Thielen's fantastic. I think Xavier Legette is a dog, but I think Xavier Legette, man, I got so many, it's a little heavy. He gets hurt a lot. Like, there's a lot of question marks there. And I think you're looking at a situation where he's going to go in there. And I told Alex this last 2 weeks, I said, man, this feels like it could potentially be a Malik Neighbors situation a year ago, where we're going down every single day in August. We're doing a show and we're going, you can't leave a draft without Malik Neighbors. Can't leave a draft without Malik Neighbors. Always. 3rd round, draft Malik Neighbors. ADP goes up to 2nd round, right? I'm not sure it's going to get that hot and heavy, but man, this kid feels like he's going to get 160, 170 targets. So if you got conviction that you're going to see 160, 170 targets in 2025 and 2026, the 102 makes sense. But I feel like if I had the 102 and 104, I might click that running back first and then come back to receiver. But
yes, I would do that. If you had the 102 and the 104 and his ADP is 104, then you would go Hampton or Ward, depending on whether you needed a quarterback, and then you can go back to McMillan at the 104. That way you're playing the game. You're optimizing based on the market demand, which is what you should be doing. So with that, 103 is yours.
All right, 103. I'm going to take the running back here. We just talked about the archetype with Jahmyr Gibbs. We talked about the archetype of McCaffrey and Kamara and these guys that can catch passes out of the backfield and protect in the backfield. And I look at the offense that this guy's going to, where there's a between the tackles grinder in this offense, but this guy's going to be protecting with a very young quarterback that is above competency with a receiving core that is below competency level, and and a team dedicated to continuing to enhance the offensive line, I'm going TreVeyon Henderson from Ohio State at the 103. And I love him because a year ago, you wouldn't even have blinked at this. And I took him in the draft at 102. I got him at 105. I got him at 104. I've taken him a lot in the top 5 of some drafts so far this week, and I feel really good about it. It's one of those situations where I have Hampton graded higher as a prospect. I look at where Hampton's at right now in Los Angeles next to Najee Harris. I totally get it. I totally see it. I don't think it happens in 2025 because we've seen Najee go 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000. And Hampton's got the runway to take over and be that guy in 26 and 27. But remember Derrick Henry didn't come in on day one? And who was it? DeMarco Murray was in that backfield year one for Derrick Henry. And we didn't get it quite right away. So I don't think either pick is wrong here. I'm just playing the new game. I want the pass catcher. I'm playing PPR fantasy football. I want the pass catcher. I want the Jahmyr Gibbs. I want the McCaffrey upside. So I'm going Henderson here at the 103.
That is a terrific pick. Henderson, he's going a little bit later than he should in rookie drafts. I think he's the clear pick over Judkins, and I think it's a debate between Henderson and Hampton. Whew. Oh, boy. You're forcing me. I really want to go Ward because it is super flex, 2 QB. But all my teams, super flex and 2 QB, I build around one anchor quarterback, and then I just figure out the second quarterback and the third quarterback. That's my strategy in Dynasty. So I have a lot of like Brock Purdy in the QB1 spot, and then you figure it out, right? Just throw a bunch of darts, get a lot of Jameis Winston stashed, a lot of Daniel Jones stashed. We're going to figure it out. And sometimes you hit when you do this, when you follow this methodology, sometimes you hit on a Geno Smith, you hit on a Baker Mayfield, a Sam Darnold. So I'm going to avoid Cam Ward here and go Hampton. Hampton is an all-purpose back. He's going to a team that has invested the most in the offensive line. I think this is a pick that will pay dividends this year, because just because a running back ran pure with injuries his entire career doesn't mean that will continue. Najee Harris lacks the lateral quickness to avoid contact, so he does take huge punishment, and that will eventually matter. Every running back eventually misses games with injuries. And yeah, we have people in the chat reminding us, Ines in the chat reminding us that the RB regression injuries this year is real. And so it could be extreme. Like it could tilt wildly, where we have one of the more running back injury ravaged seasons in recent memory, after having the safest, least injured, stable of stud running backs in the history of fantasy football in 2024. That just simply, it cannot continue. It is not fully baked in. This injury regression is not fully baked into ADPs right now. So that's another reason to like Hampton. He's going to be less prone to injury than Najee Harris is, but he's also going to be getting the passing down work for sure, and there's going to be a lot of it. There's just going to be a lot of touches to go around in Los Angeles, a lot of red zone visits, and he's going to offer a lot of what you're getting with TreVeyon Henderson, but also has a little more long-term bell cow upside. So Hampton is the clear pick. He's also just a first rounder. So you love that he's a first rounder. That helps me sleep at night. The number of first-round running backs that have busted is vanishingly small. You got to really go back to Rashad Penny. It's just it's hard. They almost always hit in some way. Even Najee Harris himself, especially their first year, right? Najee Harris, Trent Richardson, even these slug running backs, they're given that opportunity in year one, and they deliver with the huge touch count. Not that Hampton's going to get a huge touch count this year, but it's just first-round running back, historically, so safe. Go ahead.
Could be a pretty efficient touch count too if they're just sitting here. The one thing we saw from the Chargers last year was just they're willing to sit there and pound it at you. And when you get 225 pounders, it helps a little bit better than just one. So it was hard for me to pass on Omarion Hampton. I got to be honest with you. And this is part of the process that we've talked about pre-draft, was just like, to me, it was I'm taking all 4 of these running backs before I touch a receiver in one QB. I know we're in Superflex here, so I'm gonna make that pivot, and I'm gonna go
38 catches in his junior season at North Carolina.
Was that more than Javonte when Javonte came out of there? He had 20. Was it 25? Maybe.
Yeah, he's a more dynamic version of Javonte Williams, because Javonte Williams, when he came out, was a very impressive running back prospect.
He was good. Remember, he's compared to Michael. Remember, he's competing with Michael Carter. Gosh.
You like Michael Carter. Michael Carter always looked like a solid satellite back. I was always surprised that his career, it didn't solidify. I expected him to get a foothold in the league, and he never did.
I think he still might have more rushing yards than Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Oh, there's another first-round bust. They're out there. They're out there. It's hard to do. You have to be really bad, but it's hard. But Clyde Edwards-Helaire was certainly bad enough to bust. Even Sony Michel, I feel like Sony Michel had a breakout season. Didn't he have at least one 200 fantasy point season?
Yeah, he had one in was it the year they went to the Super Bowl, right? In New England?
Yeah, so even a guy like Sony Michel, which no one thinks had like an impressive career at all, I think technically broke out. Technically broke out once upon a time. So
900 yards and 7 touchdowns.
Oh, no, he didn't. No, I stand corrected. He was so close to a 1,000-yard season. Sony Michel has 4 900 rushing yard seasons, but no 1,000-yard seasons. But maybe now he doesn't have enough touchdowns. Like, there's no way. No, he never got there. Never technically broke out. So close.
Just not good enough. All right, I'm going to run the card up. I was inspired by the Steve McNair doc I watched yesterday. I think that the Tennessee Titans are going to score some points on offense.
Nice. Where can people watch this Steve McNair documentary?
I think it was it's an Untold on Netflix.
Ooh, it's one of those Netflix Untold. Series. Steve McNair. He's a fascinating guy. He was fun to watch, man.
It's a pretty interesting one. Jeff Fisher's in it. It's a couple. It talks about the death and all that stuff. So, but it's pretty good. It's like an hour long, maybe. But I was inspired by it. So, number 1 for the Tennessee Titans. I don't think Cam's going to wear number 1. I think he has. Warren Moon gave him number 1, right? So, Cam Ward. Anyways, I'm going to go him here at the 5. I think honestly, people are kind of fading out on quarterback in Superflex, and generally in Superflex, I think we've come to the thought that if it's a quarterback driven class, the quarterbacks are going to go. It's as Superflex should be, right? 1, 2, 3, something like this. And Cam's not really getting much of that helium for whatever reason. And I think people are forgetting, like, Tennessee has spent draft picks on the offensive line, Skoronski and J.C. Latham the last 2 years. They spent 5 years, $80 million, or 4 years, $80 million on Dan Moore to come in and play left tackle. Like, they've spent money on free agents. Kevin Zeitler came over from the Lions. And then you look at the receiver room, like the day before the draft, they added Tyler Lockett, who, again, 30 years old, but what is he? He's a safety blanket, right? They got a guy in Shim Dike to come stretch the field. They got a value on Elic Ayomanor in the 4th round that we talked the last time on Sonic Truth. We talked about that happening. He was going to fall to day 3. They got Calvin Ridley, who is Calvin Ridley. Van Jefferson can stretch the field. I think the tight end room is good. They added Gunnar Helm in the 4th round. Like, I think there's enough weaponry around him. We haven't even talked about the backfield that I think didn't get touched really by the draft. They got Khalil Mullings from Michigan, but he's kind of a 0, I would say, as far as expected output in 2025, competing with Tony Pollard and Tyjae Spears. So I think this offense can score points, and getting a quarterback here, if you're sitting at the 105 or even the 106 in drafts, and this is where his ADP is at right now. And getting a quarterback, if you're on a team that just missed the playoffs in Superflex, you might be, just straggling along at the quarterback position. You got like Russ and you got like, Geno Smith, and you're like, man, you got Kenny Pickett. You just got a disgusting quarterback room. Like Cam Ward could do a lot for you.
Did you hear Cam Ward or see the clips of Cam Ward talking shit to Shedeur Sanders when they were working out together?
I maybe other than like Todd McShay and John Gruden, the only other content that I consumed, or not the only other, but the content that I consumed the most outside of those two shows was Deion Sanders Jr.'s like media channel, and it's always just Shedeur and Cam, Shedeur and Travis, all these guys doing like their workouts together. And so yeah, the Cam thing, when he was like, what did he say to him? He's like, you want to make a song together? He goes, no, man, I want to play football. He's like, oh no, man, I want to make a rap song with you. And he's like, nah, dude, I don't want any part of that. Like Shedeur's, I think, is going to be good, but Cam is, yeah, you can tell he's just his brain just works at a different level. Man, this guy's played 57 games. He's at over 3,500 yards and 25 touchdowns at 3 different schools. Like, it's been a grind for Cam Ward.
Dude, I'm so happy for him, and I loved how he was like, you can't just make it in the league throwing screen passes. You're gonna have to do something else. And Shedeur was like, "Ha, funny, we're joking around." And he looked over at Cam Ward, and Cam Ward was dead serious. And he's like, "Wait, we're really talking shit? You ever been in that situation where we're like, oh, that's funny, haha, we're guys, we're giving each other a hard time. This is fun. Wait, no, this is real? Like, this is real shit? You're talking real shit here? Oh, man." And then he's like, I don't know what to do. And then he just bailed. He bailed on the whole thing. It was great. So look at the growth and development of a guy that was a wishbone quarterback in high school, not recruited, not respected, wasn't even respected in 2023. So the scouts said, hey, you got to go back to school. And he's like, I don't want to go back to Washington State. Once he transferred from Incarnate Word to Washington State, 6.5 yards per attempt, 7.7 yards per attempt, 9.5 yards per attempt. The interceptions always stayed below 10, even as the touchdowns escalated 23, 25, 39, always keeping those interceptions low. So this is, even the rushing yards go up every year. This guy is like a developmental quarterback at the college level that has fully developed, and you got to see it in the stat line. The development was so clear. Every single stat, from completion percentage to yards per attempt to air yards per attempt, everything just escalating every year until he had that gem season with the 4,300 yards and the 9.5 yards per attempt, 39 TDs, 7 interceptions. And yet, because he wasn't listed among like elite gold star recruits, scouts have just begrudgingly moved him up constantly. Mm-hmm. And that's part of the reason why he's lacked buzz throughout the process, and why I love drafting him. And I certainly would have been strongly considering him in this mock. Here, you let me have Travis Hunter. Now, the one difference between Travis Hunter and Tetairoa McMillan is that Travis Hunter is going to a team where he's not the number one. Otherwise, these guys are a coin flip. The one other element is, if Travis Hunter were a receiver only, he would not have been the number 2 pick overall if he were just a receiver. It's hard for me to imagine him as the number 2 pick overall. Jamar Chase was like the 6th pick. You have Calvin Johnson. You have just a handful of receivers ever, Quinshon Judkins, that have ever been top 2 picks in the NFL draft. They're very rare, which tells you that part of the allure for Jacksonville was the fact that he can play corner. Otherwise, they wouldn't have traded up to get him. They would have just stayed where he was, stayed where they were. So, did they trade up just to get the receiver, Travis Hunter? They were so infatuated? and they knew they had to trade up because other teams wanted him to play both ways, and they had no intention of playing him both ways. But even though they had no intention of playing him both ways, they felt like they valued him more than teams that were going to play him both ways. That seems far-fetched to me. That seems far-fetched. It seems when you go up the logic ladder, the only way they draft him at the 102, they make that move, they push the button, is the allure of that he can play corner. And knowing that there is some risk, even on Jacksonville, that they decide to play him at corner in certain situations, and then that does detract from his production at wide receiver.
100%. And to be honest with you, we talk a lot about everything, every player, every angle, every pick, everything leading up to the draft. And I find it really interesting. I talked about TreVeyon Henderson a second ago, where I get on the clock and I'm like, I want Henderson more than I maybe thought I wanted him. And the opposite is kind of the point with Hunter, where I love Hunter. And I think when you grade him from a cornerback perspective and you grade him from a receiver perspective, he's a top 10 talent at both positions. But when you're on the clock in these drafts and you're like, all right, well, he went to one of the few spots where I think he'll probably be allowed to try and do the thing, which is play both ways more than not. And at his weight and the NFL, it seems like there's probably a decent chance he gets hurt, which I don't ever want to wish cast on anybody, but it's the facts. And you're probably not going to get the maximum output on offense. They have Brian Thomas there. They have other weaponry on the inside. They love Brenton Strange and Gabe Davis and all these donks and stuff. But when you're on the clock with Travis Hunter, for me, it's tough. It's a tough button to click because of exactly what you just brought up. And the problem in Jacksonville is that their defensive backs stink. Nobody in that cornerback room last year had better than like a 65 PFF grade in coverage. And they need his help bad on the back end if they're going to be a good football team. And the thought the entire process has been, well, the most logical thing to do would be to have him come in and dominate on defense and play defense because of his ball skills, and then just have roll for him on offense. Now, Gladstone, the GM in Jacksonville, was like, we're going to let him come in and we're going to let him do the thing. We're going to it's just a lot. It's a lot to learn both playbooks. It's a lot to perfect that craft. It's a lot to practice both ways. It's a lot to decipher what you're going to do. Like, you're going to take your morning meeting on offense, and you're going to take your tomorrow's meeting on defense. Or you're going to go back and forth. You're going to do half meetings. You're going to do half offense, half defense. What are you going to do on the practice field? You're going to do half the drills. Like, there's a lot going on here. That's much more than just saying, well, can he play both ways, right? There's a lot more nuance to that. And well, also, they'll have, like they did at Colorado, they'll track, his steps. They'll track the mileage he puts on every single day of practice to make sure he doesn't get overworked from that perspective. But that's not even the half of it, man. You talk about that plus being able to just get in those reps and the logic behind, all right, man, well, guess what? Today we're playing against the Denver Broncos, and I have to cover Cortland Sutton. And then on the next snap, I have to cover Marvin Mims, who runs a 4-3. And then we're going to flip the ball, and I'm going to be on offense. And guess who's going to be covering me? Pat Surtain. Like, it's not just, scrub-a-dub-dub-tub from Texas Tech playing against you on offense, and then you flip the other side and you're playing against, an accountant. You're playing against dogs on both sides. Like, I think there's just so much here to why I haven't been able to click this button personally at the 105, at the 104, at the 103. In any of my drafts, I have zero Travis Hunter this week because of this exact thought. Is I just get to it and I can't do it. And I want to, but I just can't for fantasy football, which is not something I thought coming into the week I would where I would be.
Well, this is a spot where it makes sense. Once Henderson's off the board, once Hampton's off the board, Tet's off the board, Ward's off the board, now there's no one left. There's no arguments left. I'm not going to go Judkins on the Browns. No way. That's not happening. I'm not doing it.
You don't want
I'm not going Tyler Warren because it's tight end premium. I'm not doing it. I'm going Travis Hunter. I want that wide receiver. Also, remember, my teams are loaded at running back, all my teams in this mock draft. And we are like 30 minutes in, and we've picked 6 guys. And if we're going to do 4 rounds, this is projecting to be a 4-hour podcast. So we're going to have to start going into rapid fire immediately. That's just what's going to have to happen. And I love to see the Dynasty Warzone boys in here. We got Jerry and Memphis both in here. They podcast also on Sunday. And no, this is not going to be a regular occurrence. Sundays is Warzone Day. This is just a special event for us, Cody and I. My schedule's a bit condensed next week, and so I had to kind of get this in. I'm going for rotator cuff surgery. I don't know if you can see on the screen. I still have a little bit of a bruise on my face and a cut on my face, and so now we have I have the scar ointment that my wife ordered, the scar cream to try to minimize the scarring on my forehead, on my face from crashing my mountain bike. So that happens, man. And I'm going to a concert and go to the Goose concert. We talked about Goose. We listened to some Goose. And it's so funny because Alex is the former bassist for the band Alpha Rev. And Alpha Rev had some major label albums. They were on like soundtracks, and they had some hits. And he just had never, for whatever reason, he had never intersected with Goose. And I was like, yeah, man, you don't know Goose? So then we fired up the Bluetooth speaker in Tampa, and we were playing some Goose, and Alex's face, he was like, this band's too good, man. This band's too good. And then he realized they just dropped a new album, and he's texting me like these songs. And I'm like, yeah, man, dude, welcome to the party. It's going to be great. So I'm going to a Goose concert. Their last concert of their current tour, it's in the Yale Bowl. So if anyone's going to be there, look for me. I'll be there probably I don't know if I'll be in a sling by then. I think I might have the sling off by then. Hopefully I'll have the sling off. Yeah, I'll have the sling off by then easily. So a friend of mine I'm going with, he had almost the same exact thing happen to him. He's like, I crashed my mountain bike. I tore my shoulder up. I had to have surgery. It's just like, and I actually saw this BMX documentary where these guys, they get towed by motorcycles. Have you seen this? Where these BMX guys, they have these huge ramps, and they get towed by motorcycles in order to get as high up to get maximum height. They're going for records in terms of from a stationary position, how high can you launch yourself up in the air and then come back down on a BMX bike. And the thing that knocks all these guys out are bad shoulders. But they all have bad shoulders. They've all their shoulders are like, have all these like incision marks where they've had multiple surgeries on both shoulders, because as you're landing shoulders first with the BMX bike. And so yeah, now I'm like, oh, this is just a normal thing. People crash their mountain bikes and they fuck their shoulder up. He's like, yeah, man, I did it. Everyone does it. I'm like, okay, I feel better. But it's not great. Like it's not a great thing to I haven't dealt with any kind of major injury or surgery since I was a kid. So it was a little bit of an intense experience. I'll just say that. But it's kind of like Fight Club, where once I realized I was alive and I was wearing a helmet, thank God, everyone should wear a helmet. And I got up and I was like, wow, I was going way too fast and I'm an idiot, but I'm okay. And like, there is a bit of an adrenaline rush there from that, where it's like, but was it worth it? Hell no. Hell no. Oh my God, no. But for a moment there, I did understand the movie Fight Club a little bit. Like I hadn't really, like that movie just, I didn't resonate with me. I'm like, I don't see the benefit of getting punched in the face. I'm sorry. But then for a moment there, I was like, wow, there's something there where I could see why people get addicted to that type of adrenaline, and why they get injured. Like these BMX guys, they get injured, they tear their shoulder up, they just get the surgery, and they're right back on the BMX bike. So I understand all that now, and I'm so glad that I provided all those details after explaining that we needed to go into rapid fire.
Well, I'm gonna mute the rapid fire side of this. Have you seen the Tour de France Netflix thing they've done the last 2 years?
No, I've seen it on there. I've seen the thumbnail when I'm on Netflix, but I have not clicked on it. I should, though.
Must watch. So the last 2 years, me and my wife have watched it leading up to the Tour de France. And I bought a bike like 2 years ago and just got into road biking, but not like traffic. It's more of like, I find streets that aren't busy and stuff, roads that aren't busy. But this show on Netflix, this Tour de France show, is phenomenal. And you talk about the adrenaline rush of watching those guys go 50, 60 miles an hour downhill. Like, it gets you, like, I'm sitting on my couch and I'm like shaking myself. Like, I couldn't imagine. And then, they hit these 90-degree turns and blow through the side rails. And it's like the accidents that happen there, dude, I couldn't fathom it. That just scares me every time I ride a bike. Like, just thinking about like somebody blowing a stop sign and like bumping you. I can't imagine hitting somebody or going, over tea kettle or crashing going 50. That's just that is. But
I now know what it feels like. I now know the sensation of I'm in the air and this is gonna suck, man. Like, I'm in the air.
At least you have the helmet on.
This is really gonna suck. There's another documentary along those same lines about the motorcycle race on the Isle of Man. So the Isle of Man has no motorcycle regulations, and they have a motorcycle race that is incredibly dangerous where people die every year. And so there's a documentary about that in terms of the crazy frame of mind, literally crazy frame of mind these guys have to, but they love it, and so they just do it. I'm gonna be going very cool, calm, and collected on my bicycle for the rest of my life. I'm not that guy. I'm not getting right back out there. No. Completely. You know what? It also made me a safer driver. Isn't that a weird thing?
Yeah.
I now find myself being even more cautious as a driver now that I've felt like I've been a little bit up in the air going, I'm in an unsafe spot right now. It's interesting.
Kind of the opposite of getting out of a golf cart from a day of golf and then getting into your car. Feel like you're still in the golf cart. Then you're not being careful. I just feel erratic in that situation. But
and then there was I saw an interview with Jeremy Renner, and he got run over by a snowplow.
Yeah, that was
right. I mean, and he was like, I can't believe I'm alive. The thing ran over my head, and it's like a tank, and it ran over his head, and he's still alive. And you can almost see once you get through it, there's like a little bit of a glow that people have. They're like, listen, man, I appreciate life at like a little bit even higher level now. So again, no reason to be unsafe, right? No reason to be unsafe, but there are some positive consequences that come out of it, where I think I'm probably closer to the normal, where it's like, I'm just going to be a safer human from now on. So we are at the 107 in this rookie draft.
Speaking of safe, I'm going to take the safe pick here. And that's a role that we've seen the last 4 years garner 250 carries. And when the coach loves you, the coach loves you. So this is a running back I think fits better in his offense, his new offense, than the previous running back did. I'm going to take Kaleb Johnson here at the 107 from Pittsburgh by way of Iowa. Man, this guy at 225 pounds, 6'1", is going to look that when we see the preseason week 2 or whatever week he finally puts the jersey on and takes a carry behind this offensive line that is completely rebuilt from where it was 2 years ago, it's going to look the exact same outside of, we'll see if he has dreads at that time or not. But I think Kaleb Johnson is one of the safest picks you can have in the first round. And when you're at this spot in your drafts, which I think is a borderline tier, I think Quinshon belongs inside this tier break as well. But as far as safety goes, I feel much better about Kaleb Johnson in Pittsburgh than I do about even though I love me some RJ Harvey. I feel better about Kaleb. I feel better than Quinshon. I feel better than any of these receivers in their current spaces. And God forbid these tight ends. I love these tight ends, but come on, where they're at right now with the weaponry around him or the lack of quarterback play in Indianapolis, the safest pick here at the 107 for my roster, who's about to make the playoffs and make a run, is Kaleb Johnson.
It's a great pick. But I would ask you, are we sure that the Steelers' offensive line and quarterback is much better than the Browns?
Yeah, I would. Yeah. I mean, I think the Steelers today are better at quarterback with Will Howard than anything that the Browns put on the field in week 1.
Oh, well, if you believe that, then everyone should stay tuned because Will Howard's probably going to get drafted before he's drafted in most drafts by Cody Carpentier, but we'll stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for that. I'm going to go chalk. I'm going Judkins. I mean, he was the 204. He is a size speed specimen. This team will eventually start to come around, rebuild the offensive line, get a quarterback. And in the meantime, they're going to feed him. I'm not worried about Dylan Sampson, so I'm going to get those touches, and he's going to score. The touchdowns they do score are going to go to Judkins most likely. And then the teams can turn it around fast. Could be as soon as next year they turn things around in Cleveland. And then Judkins is just an absolute juggernaut. So Judkins the juggernaut, that's the direction I'm going. Back over to you.
Is this tight end premium?
Yes.
All right, I'm going Colston Loveland then. I know they took Luther Burden. I knew they took Luther Burden just a little bit later. And it sounds like you probably weren't going to take Luther. It sounds like you probably were not going to take Loveland with the next pick, but I'm going to take Loveland here with the Bears. I think they're going to let Cole Kmet walk after next year, and Colston Loveland has the ability to be, 60%, 55% of Brock Bowers, which is still probably a top 6 tight end in Dynasty in year 1. And when you're looking at it a year from now, people are going to be goo gaga over Colston Loveland and hopefully over this offense under Ben Johnson if everything hits right. So I'm going to go Colston Loveland year premium.
Now, if we just had 2 teams and we had all the picks, then I would use game theory and I would not draft a tight end because I know you just drafted a tight end. You're probably not going to go double tight end. Yeah. And I know you love RJ Harvey, and I would draft RJ Harvey. But I'm not going to do that because these are 6 separate teams we're drafting for. And I don't need running back as much as any other positions. I'm going Tyler Warren. Tyler Warren is a stud. Tyler Warren just happened to land in a bad situation, but I think that this is going to be the Daniel Jones show sooner rather than later. He's best comparable to Jason Witten on playerprofiler.com. Check it out. Here it is right here. Best comparable to Jason Witten. There's nothing not to like about this guy. He's also like over 255 pounds, but fast, athletic, does it all. He's not Brock Bowers, we know that, but we're talking about 1,200 plus receiving yards, 70+% catch rate, a 31.4% target share at Penn State. Like these are cartoonish numbers, absolutely cartoonish. I'm going this is the direction I'm going, especially tight end premium. Give me Tyler Warren.
Fun thing about that pick is that you probably might get cross-positional abilities on Yahoo in a year when, the Colts have to use him at quarterback.
Yes. Oh, my God. Please. We know what you're doing here. We know what's happening. We know what's next.
I'm taking the starting wide receiver for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Emeka Egbuka.
What?
Yes.
Really?
PPR. I'm taking the starting slot receiver for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers inside of Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. I'm taking Emeka Egbuka, Mr. Dependable. Just like Chris Olave was a couple of years ago, there's certain types of players that are just plug and play. Like I talked about Kaleb Johnson a second ago. It's a sure thing. At the receiver position, we can like Tet, we can like Travis, we can like Golden, all these different guys. But the guy that I think you can depend on the most is 100% Emeka Egbuka. And in this offense, no, he's not going to have 140 targets in year 1. But we know Godwin has been banged up, and he's cresting 30. Evans is into his 30s. Emeka Egbuka is the future in this offense. It's not quite Jalen McMillan, who I think will probably carve out a role for the future, but this is Emeka Egbuka. First-round draft capital. Give me him here at the end of round 1.
Well, Mike Evans is going to be 32 this year. Going to be 32. Godwin is 29. 29 going on 35 with all these lower body injuries. And on day one, Egbuka steps into that facility, and he's going to be better than Jalen McMillan. And I hope that if you drafted Jalen McMillan, I sure as hell hope you already traded him before the draft. If not, listen better to our show. I can't believe this is happening, but RJ Harvey's in free fall because I'm going Matthew Golden. I like Matthew Golden. I need receiver on these teams, and Matthew Golden is going to be the snap leader, the route leader. He is super fast. He is wired the right way. His production is not a concern because he wasn't featured until the back half of the season in Texas. Everything I've heard from you, from Alex, from everyone, plus the draft capital, going to Green Bay too. They haven't drafted a first-round wide receiver since Javon Walker. Or Javon Walker. Javon. I think there's a Javon Walker. Wasn't he an edge rusher that went to Jacksonville?
No, TreVeyon Walker.
Okay, TreVeyon Walker, and then Javon. Wow. So it's hard for me to keep my Walkers straight. Anyway, this is just one of those teams. Golden goes to the Steelers. Golden goes to the Packers. I trust it a little bit more, and so I have a feeling Golden is going to be one of these players that is going to force many to recalibrate some of their breakout models. So, and speaking of that, before we get into the next round, I mean, what pick is that? Is that pick
12?
That was pick 12. So that is first round in the books. On to the second round after this. Oh, the Breakout Finder is live. That's right. A lot of breakout models out there, but we started it all. The best and brightest minds coming up with the definitive breakout probabilities for running backs, wide receivers in this rookie class. It's $5 to download the wide receiver breakouts, the running back breakouts, but also proprietary stats available only on the Breakout Finder, including dynamic score for wide receivers, teammate score, level of competition. You can access the full stat database, plus many advanced metrics from Player Profiler, all there, right there on your phone, in the App Store, on Google Play, and that 2025 class is live. Round 2, kick us off. And please, draft, you can't. No, we can't let this guy slide any longer. No. This is ridiculous. We loved this guy pre-draft. Why do we do this? Why do we always do this? We steam this guy up. You had like 60% ownership on RJ Harvey, on Origins, on Fast Draft, the all-rookie game on Fast Draft, and then you go ahead and now that he landed better than anyone could have ever imagined, now we're not drafting him?
I listen, I didn't. You allowed value to fall, so I just accepted it. And you let him fall too. And I think this is funny, kind of apropos, that you go back to 2017 when Sean Payton took Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara was the 201 in fantasy football superflex drafts. That's just where he was in that loaded class. And now I'm going to get RJ Harvey here at the 201, and I'm ecstatic about it. He's going to go to Denver, and he's going to get the lion's share of this backfield, but unlike Kaleb Johnson, which is why I took Kaleb ahead of him, I don't think he's going to be completely leaned into. He feels more like a Mark Ingram than a Kamara in a Sean Payton backfield. So I still think you're going to get enough Jaleel McLaughlin to be annoying as hell. So I feel much better about it at 201 or 112 than I do at 107 where I've seen him go.
The only pick for me here is Jaxson Dart. This Jaxson Dart, he closes out the tier. And this is a first-round quarterback that put up some pretty impressive numbers. We're talking about 10-plus yards per attempt in the SEC with a 70% completion percentage. And in 2 years, with well over 700 pass attempts, this guy only threw 11 interceptions. So, while also rushing for close to 1,500 yards the last 3 years. So, he's mobile. He is just a good player. Why is he so inferior to someone like Bo Nix? I don't understand what about him worries NFL teams that didn't worry them about Bo Nix and Michael Penix last year. Whatever it is, I don't care. I think he's going to be battling with Russell Wilson. I think it's going to be close. I think they're going to end up giving Russell Wilson the nod, and then Russell Wilson is going to flame out in spectacular fashion, and we are going to get more Dart this year than expected.
I think the easy answer to that question is he was not as prolific as Penix, with, one could argue, not similar, but requisite talent around him. And he was also where he was the product of the system, which is, the Lane Kiffin system worries people because of how it's built and how everything's kind of laid out, in crayon, just kind of like, hey, do it this way, do it that way. The ball's going to be here at this point. Like,
oh yeah, he's a system quarterback, just like Patrick Mahomes was.
No, yeah, I'm not gonna.
That was the criticism I heard of Patrick Mahomes. So I'm
going
going with the chalk there. That's an easy chalk pick for me. I'm going Dart. What's next?
I hate this pick. Maybe my least favorite spot to be in a draft is the 203. I've taken Burden. I've taken Scat. I've taken who else did I get? I took Bech at 204. Draft dependent. I don't know, man. I hate this spot. Alex will tell you to take Scat. My brain tells me I cannot leave this pick without Burden. And this is just a massive sort of tier break area for me if I don't take Burden. So I'm going to take Luther Burden here, formerly my wide receiver 1. Had he not had 8.5-inch hands, I would have taken him in the first round. But hey, that's just one of those things. So Burger King hands meme, Luther Burden, 203.
So with Tre Harris, I was worried that he was going to be a third rounder, but the NFL validated that the advanced metrics enthusiasts were correct. Tre Harris is really good at football, goes to the best spot. I love that I drafted Hampton already. And I think for the same team where I drafted Hampton. Oh, no, it's if it's a snake. If it's not a snake draft, it's, but I think, assuming that this is a non-snake draft, right?
Yeah.
I have the 104. Took Hampton. Perfect, man. Perfect. And now we're at the 204. And I'm going Harris, so I get both of these Chargers, these rookie Chargers. He's going to be playing the X receiver position. There's very little competition outside Ladd McConkey. I think that he has a clear path to be playing a lot in 3 receiver sets. So this to me is an easy pick. I mean, he's got nice burst, even if he doesn't have blazing speed. There's a lot to like about him. Now his comp right now is Marquez Callaway for now, but as soon as he starts to perform, that comp will change. We're talking about 3 straight seasons with 900+ receiving yards, and he was a touchdown scorer, and he was helped by having Jaxson Dart, that's for sure, but Jaxson Dart was also helped by having Tre Harris, 76% completion percentage in his final year. Only 9 games played. 1,000 yards, only 9 games played. 2 straight seasons with 17+ yards per reception. So this guy is uber efficient. The tape guys love him. The metrics guys love him. This, to me, is a nice, easy, safe pick. I like it.
By that same corollary, I'm going to take Xavier Restrepo. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that. Sorry, but this team does have Cam Ward on it. I'm going to go Jack Bech, wide receiver, second-round pick to the Las Vegas Raiders. He was a guy that freshman season at LSU had led the team in receptions in the same room with Kayshon Boutte, Trey Palmer, Brian Thomas, Malik Neighbors. And he's a guy at TCU this last year, had 1,000 yards. And you know what, man, I think he's fast enough. We didn't get a time on him. He's 6'1", 214 pounds. Alex loaded his comps up with Cooper Kupp, Skoranek, Nacua, all these Ram dudes. I think there's some Josh Palmer in his game. I think he's going to be a good receiver for that team. Like, he can definitely be – he's obviously bigger than Tyler Lockett, but he can definitely be the Tyler Lockett for Pete Carroll and Geno Smith.
We'll see with Jack Bech. I don't love the pick. I think there were better options, especially because he was a late second-round pick. Early second-round pick, Jayden Higgins could have easily been a first-rounder. At the 202, he was picked. So for me, I think Jayden Higgins is the pick. We have Tuten rated higher. On the Player Profiler Dynasty rankings, check it out. Go to Dynasty Deluxe. You can get all of our rankings with lifetime value ratings. You can see the tiers. all right there. And it's also like a strategy mode. You can go neutral, you can go rebuild, and then things will change. And then the rankings change. And you can say, oh, win now. And there's a draft planner. There's a whole Dynasty sync to sync it up with the FFPC Dynasty leagues as well as Sleeper. There's a trade finder to find trades that are happening. There's a trade analyzer to look at trades and including future firsts out 5 years. So, and I know, like, you've emailed us about the ADP tracker. We have the ADPs from Sleeper. We're working on getting the rookie ADPs to get synced up properly. They're in the right order. It's just that when you blend them, they're not showing up properly. But we're working with Sleeper. We're going to get that figured out with the ADP tracker. Or if we can't get it figured out with Sleeper, we'll get another service that does Dynasty leagues. We'll get those ADPs in there. Either way, we're going to get that figured out. So I like Tuten here, and I think Tuten has big upside, especially next year and the year after, knowing they're going to move on from Bigsby most likely, and they're certainly going to move on from Etienne. And he's a super fast player that doesn't play like a slasher. Like he looks like a slasher in his profile, but he plays, more like one of these super strong tackle breakers. And so to have the speed and the strength that he shows as a runner, I love his potential, especially as that offense is improving. They add Hunter. I mean, it's just things seem to be going in the right direction with this Jacksonville offense. That all said, I'm going to go Higgins just because drafting a receiver that was almost or essentially a first-rounder drafted right where Ladd McConkey was, to take a fourth-round running back over that guy, it's a bad process, especially if my team is loaded at running back. I'm going to want Higgins, and in the context of this offense in Houston, I think they sent a strong signal that they want to throw the ball, that they're sick of getting bounced, and they're ready to surrounding C.J. Stroud with all the weapons that he needs, especially if they're from Ohio State. That's the priority, get him Ohio State weapons. Higgins is not the best fit for Z across from Nico Collins, but it's still a very exciting thing. If you can remember many, many years ago, the Buccaneers had a super exciting offense with Jameis Winston, with Mike Evans on one side and Vincent Jackson on the other, where you get 2 6'4" wide receivers. I would love to see it, and I think we will see some of that Nico with Higgins. That pretty sexy. So I'm going to go Higgins there. I love his profile, and I think that this is the right play where, yes, you could just go with the lifetime value rating because Tuten will likely outproduce him in the next couple years. But over time, if you're looking for a cornerstone wide receiver asset, which are so hard to find, they're so valuable, Higgins is a strong pick here.
I think I fucked up. I think I messed up.
You forgot he was there?
I should have taken Higgins. No, I didn't. Like, I knew he was there. It's one of those things. Like, I look at these two guys, and I love Higgins. And you laid out the exact reason why I've loved him, and I've made that exact case to Alex. And I allowed myself to lean into, there's more opportunities in Vegas, and there's not. The answer was Higgins.
I like Higgins there. I like Higgins. I'm interested to see what you do here.
I'm interested as well, and I think I'm going to take. I'm going to take Cam Skattebo, who I don't love. I don't love Skattebo at all. But when you're sitting in this spot at 207, I'm going to add another running back to this roster who already has Kaleb Johnson. So I know I'm going to hit on Kaleb Johnson, and if I hit on Cam Skattebo and he takes over the lion's share of the backfield carries from Tyrone Tracy, similar to how we've seen, Bucky Irving, cuck Rachaad White last year in these middle rounds. These middle round guys that are hyper replaceable because of draft capital is the situation we're staring at right now. We knew was going to approach with Tyrone Tracy, even though we love him. He's 25 years old and he's a former receiver. He's not this prolific running back. Cam Skattebo is a bit maniacal, and I think in this backfield he can take it over.
With the 19th pick, Cody Carpentier goes Cam Skattebo. I was not considering Cam Skattebo here. I'm not a Cam Skattebo believer. I want to see it to believe it. Luckily, he's on the Giants, and so it's going to be challenging for him to get there. So good, solid pick at the 207. If you're drafting a running back here that has draft capital, has an all-purpose skill set, then you're doing well. And by draft capital, an early 4th round, it's almost the 3rd round. That's quality draft capital. Anything probably inside, like was he a top 100 pick? I guess he wasn't quite a top 100 pick. Very close to being inside the top 100. So to me, this is a difficult choice. I'm not going to go Tuten. I'm going to let Tuten slide here. Again, I need receiver, but process-wise, we know this is tight end premium. It's also 2 quarterback. Tyler Shough is there. If you're in the 2nd round, man, and you're at the 208, I mean, I think it's time for Tyler Shough. I'm doing Tyler Shough here. This is the move. This is what I'm talking about. If you're not going to be drafting a Ward, if you're going to be passing on a Ward to go Hampton, to go McMillan, then opportunity cost-wise, you really should be soaking up Shough here once you get into the late 2nd round in Superflex, tight end premium. This is the type of guy that's he's on a glide path to getting a number of snaps to more starts than Jaxson Dart most likely, and he's a quality player. If he were younger, he would have been a 1st-round pick, so I'm going Shough.
Just the quintessential 108 start here. Judkins and Shough, like just good enough, just enough upside, but probably not going to get you over the hump to make it to the championship next year.
That's the problem. Yeah, so that particular team has Judkins and Shough. I think I like that. But that's also an interesting team where we're gonna have to remember that in the next round because we're very weak at receiver, and it would be nice to get a receiver in the pipeline. But your turn.
I'm gonna let the can continue to get kicked for Bhayshul Tuten. I'm gonna take Jayden Blue. From Texas. Jayden Blue's a receiver. If you look, and I'll make an easy correlation just to piss people off. If you look at the 2023 draft class, there's a running back in that class that was 5'9", 199 pounds. He ran a 4.36 and he had 44 receptions. And his college running back coach was Tashard Choice. And Mr. Jayden Blue was 5'9", 196 pounds, ran a 4.34, 43 receptions, and his college running back coach was Tashard Choice.
No way.
And
Stop it.
The burst is the same. The pass catching ability is better for Jahmyr Gibbs. I get that. I'm not comparing Blue to Gibbs.
Come on.
But what I am saying is that this we've absolutely loved this running back field. Like if the Cowboys draft Jeanty at the 112, right?
Yeah.
And now they take Blue. And everyone's like, no, it doesn't matter. Javonte Williams all of a sudden has juice. Miles Sanders all of a sudden has juice.
Miles Sanders, oh, God.
When August comes around, people are going to, you're going to be out there. Byron's going to go out to California for that training camp. And it's going to be like, man, how come nobody's drafting Jayden Blue? You're getting him in the 14th round of seasonal drafts. And then by the time the league kicks off, he's going to be an 8th round pick in seasonal. Jayden Blue's got the juice.
Jayden Blue is a phenomenal underdog pick. Phenomenal traditional best ball, FFPC best ball, underdog best ball. He is a best ball running back. I would be circling him. He's one of those guys I am absolutely, because there's more reliability based on the fact that he was an early 5th round pick as opposed to a 7th round pick. There's just more reliability. He's going to get touches this year and key touches in the passing game than, say, with Brashard Smith. So I love Jayden Blue in any best ball format. I think that's a really cool thing. And for me, I'm going Arroyo. Arroyo has a clear path to being the tight end 1 this year, just in terms of year 1 production, given that there's not a lot of options where he got drafted in Seattle. So I think Arroyo's, he's still young. He just turned 22 years old. He was also a big-time producer there with Cam Ward in Miami. So I like Arroyo here. I think Arroyo is tight end premium. I'm happy to get him here. I like his comp on Player Profiler. Have you seen his comp on Player Profiler?
Oh, I have not. Let me guess. Oh, you already showed it. Oh, that's a great comp.
Eric
That's
Ebron,
a great
baby.
comp.
Eric Ebron. It's not bad. It's not a bad comp at all.
That's a great comp.
Yeah, close to an 80% catch rate, the 7 touchdowns. Cam Ward loved him. Let's go.
All right, 211. This team has Emeka Egbuka. I have one direction I'd like to go, and I'd like to be a little spicy, but I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to take what a championship runner-up team would do, and in tight end premium, I'm going to take the sure thing in Mason Taylor at the 211. There's not a lot of targets in New York to garner targets, and so Mason Taylor's a guy that I think could come in on day one, push that number 60, 70, 80 targets next to Garrett Wilson with a great run game in Breece Hall and Braylon Allen and Justin Fields. And if Justin Fields is, if these videos that always circulate in the summer of these guys throwing or these quads and all this crap, if anything, if any maturation has continued with Justin Fields, I think Mason Taylor will feast.
I don't think he's going to feast, but I think it's a fine pick there.
Feast for this pick.
It's perfect for me because if you recall, at the 112, I did draft a receiver, and this just worked out so perfect, right? You're like, how are you? You're passing on RJ Harvey. This is a mistake. I took Matthew Golden, and with this pick at the end of the second round, this team is selecting Bhayshul Tuten. Finally, we stopped the slide, man. We end the slide of one Bhayshul Tuten. Best comparable to CJ Spiller, super athlete, all-purpose back, nothing not to like. Let's go. And the league validated us. Sometimes this guy, he falls to the 7th round, a la Pacheco, and the league says, hey, we know this guy's super fast, but no. Right? Remember Ibanakanda? Right, so we didn't get a candidate on this early 4th round. That, like I said, we consider that quality draft capital for a running back. In 2023, his target share at Virginia Tech was 12%. That's impressive. So I'm happy to get him there, and that's the benefit, man. If you can be shopping for receiver in the 1st round. You never know what's going to fall to you at the end of the 2nd round. It could be Tuten. It may be Tuten in a lot of leagues.
Yeah, a lot of dynamism in this running back group. Jeanty, yes. Harvey, Henderson, Tuten, Blue. A lot of bursty dudes.
I can't believe it was available for you though.
Yeah, I could have taken him. I could have taken him at 211. But I got a plan. I got a plan in place for that 311 spot for that team. That team's going to come together perfect. I can already tell. 301. This team stinks. This team needs a lot of help. My quarterback room is suffering mightily, and I'm going to do the thing that I think is a lottery ticket, and I think that the Seattle Seahawks used the lottery ticket on this guy in the 3rd round, and if he gets an opportunity, which I was talking to Alex about this yesterday, and he's like, man, is he going to start 2.5 games? And I said, well, he's going to definitely play in 2.5 or more games. I don't know if he's going to start 2.5 or more games this year. I hope he doesn't. I hope Darnold plays the whole year in Seattle, and Jalen Milroe gets to sit the whole year and grow as a passer and learn an offense. And then at 26, it's berserk. And I'm gonna use my lottery ticket for this team at the 101. I'm now at the 301. I got Jeanty. I got the value in Harvey, and now I'm going to get my lottery ticket in Jalen Milroe at the 301.
How can you hate it, man? How can you hate it? You have to love it. You have to love it. For me, I'm at the 302, and I started with McMillan. So we've got McMillan there, and then I went Dart. Right, so I got McMillan, I got Dart, and now that's teed up so perfectly. That's the beauty of not drafting a running back in the 1st round, is now I can just circle that position here. And this is a must draft a running back. It doesn't matter who's available. Burden's there, don't care. right? Burden's there, don't care. Noel's there, don't care. Ferguson's there, don't care. At this particular selection, I think it has to be Tahj Brooks. Tahj Brooks, yes, he's a 6th rounder, and I don't like going to the 6th round. Woody Marks is a safer pick. Woody Marks in the 4th round, definitely getting the passing down work, or at least a percentage of the passing down work, a significant percentage of passing down work in Houston. It's a solid pick. But if you're just running the upside downside equation on Tahj Brooks, the upside is huge. And there's very little downside. He's going to make the team. We know that. He's a strong inside runner. He's got incredible agility. He caught passes in college. Like there's just a lot to like about Tahj Brooks. And he's on a team that I don't believe views Chase Brown as a bell cow running back. And as long as you believe that, and that's not a leap, as long as you believe that, then Tahj Brooks is a must draft. A guy with 1,500 plus yards and 25 plus catches, 3 straight seasons. I mean, this is the most heavily discounted version of Omarion Hampton that is on the board. And he's going to a great offense, just like Omarion Hampton.
He's a bowling ball. I thought he was going to come out last year from Texas Tech, and he's always a tough runner to go against. Watched him last year up close against Texas, and he dominated everybody but Texas, but they were also one of the top run defenses in 2023. Brooks is a great back, and this is one of the guys that, I know it's a phenomenal running back class, but this is one of the guys that, like, if he landed in a spot like this, you could really circle it, and I'm glad that you took him here. I was going to wait, to the late part of the 3rd or the early 4th, thought I was going to get a piece here. That was, I'd be lying to you if that wasn't the guy that I was kind of one of the guys I had marked at my 311 spot, so that's cool, but I love Tahj Brooks.
Who you got?
303. I got Henderson and Burden on this roster. I'm going to stay at, I guess I'm not going to stay anything. It's running back and a receiver. I'm going to take Shedeur Sanders here. I've watched a couple of mocks on the old interwebs, and I've seen some people take Gabriel ahead of Shedeur. I've seen Shedeur fall a little bit further. I've seen Shedeur go late 2nd. It's going to be really draft dependent for those that haven't started drafting yet, and depending on how your draft room views him and views the situation. Would I be shocked if Gabriel got the opportunity to play or to start before him? No. Would I be shocked if Shedeur didn't take a snap in 2025? No. Would I also be shocked if Shedeur was a starter in week 1? No. So I'm going to go and lean into what I believe. I believe that Shedeur is actually a 2nd round talent, and that there was not a conspiracy or a collusion to go against him, but more so I think that he did turn a lot of people away in interviews. And now he's going to hopefully have this chip on his shoulder and hopefully, take it as a kick in the nuts that he needs to focus and get dialed in. So I'm going to take it here. It's 3rd round pick. Like I just said with Jalen Milroe, it's a lottery ticket for Milroe. For Shedeur, it's a massive value play for a team now that has Henderson, Burden, and Shedeur. And if I told you a roster had those 3 guys in the first 3 rounds 2 weeks ago, you would have said, yeah, that's probably not feasible in Superflex. So I like it now.
Is this team the team that drafted Travis Hunter and then turned around and drafted Higgins?
No, this is Hampton and Tre Harris, both Chargers.
No, I took Harris and Hampton. Took Hampton as my 2nd pick, right?
104, yeah.
104. This is not the 304, is it? This is the
Correct.
306.
No, 304.
This is the 304?
Correct.
Okay. So we've got Hampton. We've got Harris. So we've got a running back. We've got a receiver. We're all good there. It's all buttoned up. Terrance Ferguson is tempting here at tight end, but I'm going to go back to running back. I've got my receiver. I did what I needed to do, got the receiver. I'm going to go right back to running back. This is tough, man. This is tough. This is tough stuff. I'm going to go Woody Marks. I think Woody Marks is a high-quality player, former receiver, but also has enough size, the requisite size, to absorb a significant workload. And, well over 1,000 yards, 47 catches last year. You can't go wrong with these receivers. You just can't. So I'm gonna go Woody Marks. Super solid pick. Has the highest draft capital of all the running backs left on the board. Let's go.
Wait. Hold up. When did Woody Marks go? Woody Marks was 414. You're right. 10 picks ahead of my guy right here. Dylan Sampson, running back, Cleveland Brown.
No, really? You're doing that?
20 years old.
Oh.
442.
Oh.
5'8", 200 pounds.
No.
Sampson led the SEC in rushing last year. I can't believe you let me get Dylan Sampson right here.
No, that was a mistake. That was a mistake. You made a mistake. I made a mistake.
The last two picks, dude, when you've ankled at running back, I was like, gosh. And then he didn't do it. And I was like, no way. He's going to let him fall to me.
I let it happen. God damn it. You know what I wanted to do? I wanted to draft him on the Judkins team because I wanted to make a point, which is also an article or not an article. It was an article, but also a chapter in this book, The Dynasty Dominator, talking about handcuffing running backs in Dynasty, something you do in Dynasty, you do not do in seasonal leagues. And I wanted to have that discussion. And so I thought, wow, it'd be perfect. I'll take Sampson on the Judkins team. And then you did not allow that to happen, so I had to make sure I had this discussion now. There's a point I wanted to make. I made the point.
You also I can't believe you took those two running backs over him, but I guess
he's not the starter, and he's not going to be the starter. You're hoping for an injury to Judkins ultimately.
Or that they utilize that backfield similar to how Ohio State utilized the Judkins Henderson backfield.
Maybe. Or, you're looking for him to be the Jahmyr Gibbs, but how many years away from being the Lions' offense is the Browns' offense? I mean, there's some wish casting that you're doing with that particular situation. So I get it. It's a good pick. Fair enough. I'm proud of you. Happy for you. Very good job. This particular team that I drafted here, this is the Travis Hunter team, right?
This is the Travis Hunter team.
I drafted Travis Hunter and Jayden Higgins. So, can't go receiver. Again, if you're trying to draft Luther Burden, you're going to be just fine because I can't go receiver again. There's absolutely no way.
I took Burden at the 203.
Oh, you already took Burden.
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah, like a long time
That's one of those things where me not writing down the picks is always challenging. Makes it tricky. Okay, good. So to me, this is pretty straightforward. Devin Neal. We're just going, this is the time, right? This is the time. I told you all, hey, there's going to be a time in this draft where I'm just pounding running back, but because we have invested in receiver already. And this is another one of those cases where Devin Neal, he's another all-purpose back. He would be a fourth rounder in another year, but he was a sixth rounder because this draft class is so loaded. Alvin Kamara is 30. There is no one else behind him, so Neal is going to get touches. He's going to have weeks. There could be a high ankle sprain, some kind of injury to Kamara, opens up a window, 2 to 4 weeks, where Devin Neal could even be the starter and delivers, is a big-time DFS free square, and has a big value pop in Dynasty. So the thing with Brooks, a guy like Tahj Brooks, a guy like Devin Neal that you're getting is the contingent upside. They have major pop potential. something happens to Chase Brown, something happens to Alvin Kamara, there could be a real pop with a Brooks and a Neal that you're not necessarily getting with a Brashard Smith or a Woody Marks.
I'm going to stay at running back, and I'm going to take the better one. That's a backup, and that's Jarquez Hunter with the Rams. Jarquez Hunter is a guy that has tons of tread left on the tires, and I kind of gave it a pause there. I thought you were going to hit me with the cliche, but Jarquez Hunter sitting behind, 22 years old, sitting behind Blake Corum and Kyron Williams. I think Kyron Williams is gone after this year, and Jarquez Hunter's got more juice than Blake Corum. He's a better running back than Blake Corum, and he runs harder than Blake Corum. And this is going to be his starting job next year ahead of Blake Corum. 2,100 yards the last 2 seasons, has never had more than 200 carries, has had 20 receptions. It's a rare profile for a back that you can get in the 3rd round. And his ADP, honestly, if you look in Keep Trade Cut, is in the 40s. And before the NFL draft, it was in the 50s. It's like nobody knows who Jarquez Hunter is for whatever reason, except for, I guess, the NFL, who, you know, he was drafted in the 4th round. It's not like he was overpassed. He was a 7th round pick, like, you know, one of my sweet darlings, Jamar Jefferson, who sucked for whatever reason. But I'm going to get Jarquez Hunter here in the 4th round NFL draft pick at the 307 to join my Kaleb Johnson, Cam Skattebo, and Jarquez Hunter team. A complete reset for this roster in Dynasty.
It's just hard to believe how productive these running backs were in college, and that we're drafting them in the 3rd round. It feels so good. Yeah. It feels so good, man. So yeah, Jarquez Hunter is legit. And there's lots of contingent upside there. Probably not going to produce much in year 1, but stranger things have happened. He's certainly NFL ready. A guy like Jarquez Hunter is what I like about him, NFL ready. Now, this team that I'm about to draft for needs a receiver. But this was the Quinshon Judkins team. Drafted Judkins in the 1st round, needs a receiver, and there's a receiver that has been falling, slipping, and the slip ends now. It ends now. The fall ends right now. It is Jaylen Noel. Jaylen Noel, so happy to get him. This is a thing that can happen. This is why we do mock drafts. This is why we do mock draft show. Getting Jaylen Noel, even with 2 guys that love Jaylen Noel, because of need, because of just the draft dynamics that play out. Late 3rd round for Jaylen Noel is a real thing that can happen, especially in Superflex and tight end premium leagues. He's a boss, and I'm so happy to get him. This is where the upside and the potential to get a real alpha receiver, because he has alpha receiver, maybe not in his range of outcomes with Nico Collins healthy, but he could be an alpha receiver if he's given an opportunity in the NFL at some point. Jaylen Noel, so. I love to see it. I love to see him available, pushing the button.
Are you worried at all? I mean, it's a 3rd round pick. It is what it is. But are you worried at all about Christian Kirk tampering his year 1?
Yes, of course. I don't think he's going to produce much in year 1. But now when I look at the running backs that are available, we're talking about a Jarquez Hunter who's behind Kyron Williams and Blake Corum. So what are you really missing out on?
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. 309, I'll stick at receiver like you. This team has Colston Loveland at the 109, Jayden Blue at the 209. At the 309, I'm going to go to receiver with one of my favorite prospects in the entire draft, Jalen Royals from Utah State. Jalen Royals is an absolute stud, a guy that had amassed 800 yards this last year in minimal game and just completely dunked on UNLV, Boise State, his best competition, just completely dunked on him. And he's the archetype. He is the guy that comes in at 5'10", 5'11", 208 pounds and 210 pounds, runs a 4.42. This is a dog right here. And in the 3rd round, I'm going to take Jalen Royals to the whatever team this is, 309.
Sexy stuff. Jeff D'Agostino is in the chat. And he traded a bunch of picks, 1st, 2nd round, 4th round pick in 2028 for Woody Marks, Jack Bech, Kyle Williams, and Geno Smith. Generally, this is a big mistake because essentially what's happening is you're getting over enthusiastic about mid-level prospects in a weak prospect class. So trading future firsts to get and pile into a weak class, as much as we do like this running back class, most of the players they drafted here, Bech, Williams, these are receivers. Getting Geno Smith is interesting, especially if it's super flex, and that's why this might be a worthwhile trade, given that Geno Smith is teed up to have a pretty good year in Las Vegas. That said, if this were a 2026 pick package, it would be so horrific. Such a bad move. The fact that it's 2028 all the way out in 2028, the reason why this is actually not a bad trade is because, sadly, most Dynasty leagues will disband before 2028. So if they allow you, a lot of leagues won't even allow you to trade 2028 picks for that reason. If they are allowing you to trade 2028 picks, usually you just do it. You pile into this year. You pile into this year and next year, and you try to go win, knowing that it's a coin flip that league will even exist in 2028.
That's it. That's the win. That's the whole point. Is it unless this is a 30-year league that's already been around for 30 years.
And then this is a Dynasty show. We love Dynasty, and I don't want to talk like this. I don't want to be negative.
Yeah.
I don't want negative vibes out there about Dynasty ever, but facts are facts.
I think this is probably a poor move would be the nice way of saying this, Jeff, but I think to Matt's point, if in reality the league might not exist. So it's a move.
Would you trade a 2026 first for AJ Brown in half PPR?
Depends where I'm at.
Yes, you would.
Yeah.
Yes. This is from Matt Glore in the chat. Yes, you would absolutely do that.
I don't know if I would.
Really?
I don't know if I would.
Because you believe the 2026 class is going to be outstanding?
I think 27 is going to be better than 26. I'm going to try and move all my 26 picks for 27 picks, but the thing with AJ Brown, I love AJ Brown. I think he's only 27 right now, going to be 28. Let's see here. When does he turn 28? He turns 28 next month. So next year he'll be
age 28, age 29, age 30. You got 3 good years left.
But the problem is he's the the Andre Johnson type. He's the guy that falls off the cliff.
He will fall off the cliff, but you're going to get 3 years before the cliff.
But it's a severe like douche. It's not. You don't get the Thielen thing where he plays in age 35. You don't get the Fitzgerald thing.
We'll trade him after 2 years if that's the case. But these next 2 years from AJ Brown are going to be super productive, and you're going to be happy you did it. Where are we now? I'm lost. Where are we in this mock draft?
310. This is your double tight end team.
I have a double tight end team.
You have Warren and Arroyo on 310.
Oh no, I did a double tight end team. That's too bad. Well, that means we got to go running back. Oh man, we're in desperate need of a running back. Devin Neal off the board. I'm going to stick with this whole notion of contingent upside at running back, and I'm going DJ Giddens. DJ Giddens is an injury away from being a potential monster in Indianapolis. I like the profile. Athletic, productive, wins in all phases. I like Giddens. I'm going Giddens. Jonathan Taylor has chronic ankle problems. Giddens. You're up.
Give me so
2 tight ends and a running back. That's not a tight end premium. That's not that bad. I can play a tight end in flex.
It's not bad. It's not
too bad.
It's FFPC. You're probably all right.
It's FFPC. I'm okay.
311. This team has Egbuka and Mason Taylor. So I could use a running back here, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to go to a team that we've seen utilize 7th-round picks before in the backfield especially, and learn from experiences, learn from mistakes they made 5 years ago, and draft late-round running backs every single year, which is something we've talked about many a time, both Matt and I on different shows. Brashard Smith.
That was going to be my other choice. I should have gone Brashard Smith. Oh, well. Great
311.
Great pick. He's a better version of Jerick McKinnon. This guy's the more James Cooks and Kyron Williams are out here commanding 200 carries, the more it makes me want guys like Brashard Smith, because they could get launched into roles that we never expected, featured roles we never expected. I'm going right back to running back with the last pick in the 3rd round. This team was the Matthew Golden team, right? So we went Golden, and then we went back to running back after Golden, and I think we just keep going right back to running back, right back to running back, right back to running back. And this is a tier break. When we're looking at running back prospects for Dynasty, this is a clear tier break for me. Ollie Gordon. Ollie Gordon is going to get touches, man. I mean, of a lot of the running backs we've talked about, he's going to get more carries than most of the running backs we've talked about, going probably back to the Tahj Brooks conversation. They drafted him to feed him between the tackles carries. He is going to score touchdowns, and he's young, and he's interesting. So that's the direction I'm going. It's going to be a possible thunder and lightning in Miami, where he could cannibalize more carries from Achane than people are ready to fully internalize. Achane's a do not draft for me. I cannot draft Achane in any format. I think he's a stay away. It's that team is going in the wrong direction. That offensive line's going in the wrong direction. And then they added the Ollie Gordon. They didn't have to draft a running back, but they did, who has a very different body type and play style than the running backs they've been accustomed to, which could signal a shift in philosophy. So for all the reasons and more that I didn't even list, for every reason, I think Achane's a fade this year in fantasy football.
I'd agree. This feels like one of the most fragile offenses in the sport right now. Miami, just given
the last place team, they're going to get the first. They're going to have the first pick overall. I hope they have their first round pick next year if they didn't forfeit it or something.
If they move off of Ramsey,
they weren't paying coaches to tank or lost their pick somehow.
I mean, they don't think they got in any trouble for the Brian Flores thing.
They lost it. They forfeited a first round pick.
Did they?
Yes.
That was last year, wasn't it? Because there was 31 picks.
That was either last year or the year before.
That's right. There was 31 picks. Good call. Poor memory on my half. If they move off of Ramsey,
Stephen Ross, just YOLO mode for Stephen Ross.
Tyreek Hill departs. Tua's been banged up. Quinn Ewers is starting in week 6 with
it's just the worst situation you could ever want.
Washington and Ollie Gordon.
No,
that could get bad quick.
I think it's going to be interesting. I think it'll be interesting where you have Gordon and Waddle just getting all the opportunity.
And Jonnu Smith. I think this is a terrific call by you of Miami being the 101 next year. I think this is a great call.
I get ready for it. I mean, they are circling the drain. And the best part is they have like the it coach from 3 years ago.
Yeah.
It all makes this is so aligned with everything we've ever seen in the NFL that the it coach, who's like 2 coaches removed from being the it coach, lost key offensive lineman, has a disgruntled receiver. You can't make it up, man. It's all there.
Jeff Wilson is still there, reportedly, according to the chat.
Sure. Sure, he's there.
All right.
Sure.
401. 401. This team's disgusting. Ashton Jeanty, RJ Harvey, the lottery ticket on Jalen Milroe.
You need a receiver.
I could do a number of things here, including take a receiver, but this
Tory
team,
Horton?
the one thing about this roster is it's deep. I got Nico, I got Brian Thomas. The only thing I have on this roster at the 101 is receivers.
I love how you're coming up with like specific names of players you have on a fake roster that doesn't exist. I mean, you are really going full dungeon master with this. This is amazing what you're doing.
So for that reason, I'm not going to go receiver because, like I said, I'm not going to draft a guy that's going to be sixth on my roster. So I'm going to take Terrance Ferguson, and he's going to come in and start for me at tight end. 401.
That's a great pick. That's a great pick. I can't argue with that pick at all. Not in any way. So with my pick, I started with Tetairoa McMillan. And then I went Jaxson Dart. And then a running back,
Brooks.
So we've got everything taken care of. All the positions are locked in. And again, I have a running back. I have Tahj Brooks, so I could conceivably go with a receiver here, and I think I should. I think it's time to stop the bleeding. Kyle Williams. Kyle Williams, who is on a glide path to the number one wide receiver job, if he can outplay Quinshon Judkins. He's productive. Early third-round pick. Drafted before Jaylen Noel, which is going to look like a mistake in hindsight, but he's the guy every year. He's putting up 600-plus yards, even going back to his freshman year at UNLV, put up 600 yards. I think he's a good player. And there's something about a guy that puts up like 14 touchdowns in college that I like. That he's not just a possession receiver. He has some dynamism to him. I like him. I'm going Kyle Williams. I don't love it, but first pick in the 4th round, early 3rd-round pick in the NFL draft. I need a receiver. Let's go.
A lot of opportunity there, too, obviously.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he's going to accrue some value. All we're looking for is go on a run. Give me like a Christian Watson. Give me 1 month of production.
Some Christian Watson, Jalen McMillan type rookie season. You could turn that thing into a nice 2nd-round draft pick next year. That's a dub.
I will be flipping him. If he produces at all, I'm flipping him.
And a guy that I probably won't flip because I just have an attachment to is a guy that I'll just roster forever on this team, especially this team, which is, again, loaded because that's how we draft here. We just load teams up. TreVeyon Henderson, Luther Burden, Shedeur Sanders. I'm taking Tory Horton.
I knew it.
You said it a pick ago, but I wanted to let it kick to this roster.
No, I couldn't. Well, I couldn't take Horton over Kyle Williams. That'd just be bad process. You can't do that.
I know you
so I teed you up.
I could. That's just Tory Horton. I love me some Tory Horton.
Okay.
He's here's the thing. When you look at that receiver room in Seattle, yeah, it's got JSN. Cooper Kupp does not deserve me to say his name at this current stage of career.
Oh,
he's
man,
there.
This guy, I mean, poor Cooper Kupp. He's been dealing with a lot of injuries, a lot of surgeries. I'm about to have surgery on my shoulder, so now I feel I'm more empathy generated to a guy like Cooper Kupp from me. So
Cooper Kupp's he served his time. He was a lot of fantasy points for a short period of time. Tory Horton is now.
We are between 2 running backs right now. I'll tell you right now, it's full transparency. I like Trevor Etienne. No, Trevor Etienne is the chalk play. He's a 4th rounder in the NFL draft. He's the guy I should be drafting, but I really want Monangai.
Really?
But I'm going to go Etienne. I'm going Etienne. I'm just going chalk. He's still young. He is going to a place where he's going to get touches in Carolina. He's fast. He was a Georgia Bulldog. Not that productive, I get it. But, again, a lot of guys, going back to Ladd McConkey most recently, not that productive at Georgia, productive in the pros. So I discount that because he's at Georgia and they have so much talent there. I'm going Etienne.
I like that. I've been looking at Etienne for like the last 5 picks and just haven't been able to press the button. But I think he's better than Rico Dowdle on day one. So
I like Monangai, but I'm hope to get him next time.
You'll get him next time because at the 405 on this team that has Cam Ward, Jack Bech, and Dylan Sampson, I absolutely hate this roster. So I'm just going to stack Elic Ayomanor here in the 4th round. I'm going to take Elic Ayomanor at the 405.
Hey! Nice.
I got nothing. I don't love it, but that's the pick.
Ayomanor is a fun player, man. It's just that if the NFL doesn't like a guy like Ayomanor, I get very nervous because he should be a guy that. But then again, he's best comparable to Khalil Shakir, who the NFL also punted into the day 3 zone. And he ended up being productive in the Bills. So he could very – I mean, some of these comps that Player Profiler comes up with are just scary good.
Yeah.
Khalil Shakir, scary good comp. It's just one scary good comp after another. This guy put up back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, super steady. That's the thing, though. There's so many of these receivers in this class are steady, but they just don't wow you. And so I'm happy that with my next pick, I am now going with Kyle Monangai. Hard runner, man. Just a hard runner. And anytime a guy gets drafted who's a big hard runner like this, typically these guys go undrafted. But for him to go get drafted from this class, I like it. Yeah, and a lot of running backs got drafted. More than usual got drafted. Back-to-back 1,200-yard seasons at Rutgers. Not necessarily a pass catcher, but because I have so much Roschon Johnson, it's nice to diversify and get some Monangai.
You don't like Roschon. That's so weird.
I do like Roschon. I have Roschon everywhere. But also, this is the perfect move. If you're in Dynasty and you can get Roschon and Monangai for nothing, it's just a bet against. It's arbitrage against Swift. Like, all that needs to happen is Swift, now that he's past the age apex, flames out in the NFL. He's a flame out waiting to happen. It's like tick, 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 tick. You go, what's that ticking sound? Right? Oh, it's DeAndre Swift's career. Right? So this is an easy one for me. And unless Chubb signed. Did Chubb sign with Chicago?
Fournette's still out there.
So Chubb did sign with Chicago?
Nope.
No. Okay. Did Chubb sign anywhere?
No. He's been lifting.
Why didn't he? If Chubb's not going to sign with the Bears in the last week, it's probably not going to happen.
No. These running backs are like they're like they've shifted towards like the Brett Favre theory, where you wait till 3 weeks of camp has gone by in August. Then you show up. And you're like,
well, we don't know. There's no guarantee he's going to Chicago. So for that reason, I'm going Monangai.
I like it. All right. 407. This team has running back galore. Kaleb Johnson, Cam Skattebo, and Jarquez Hunter. And let's just lean into it. I'm going to go Jordan James here, running back, San Francisco, 5th round pick. Exit stage right, Jordan Mason. Enter stage left, Jordan James. Jordan James is a good back out of Oregon. We saw a year ago his counterpart, Bucky Irving, go in day 3 and earn opportunities. I don't think he's going to do that. I don't think he's going to all of a sudden walk in and obviously take over the backfield with McCaffrey and Garendo, but I do think he can duel with Garendo and take Garendo's job at some point, which also, even if he doesn't, in this backfield in San Francisco, it's just a turnstile for knee injuries, and Jordan James will get plenty of opportunities.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, not that impressive, but, I mean, the guy got drafted in the 5th round. What can you say? I mean, 5th round pick. Why not? Why not? Why not? Why not? Why not?
Ahead of a lot of other guys we love, Tahj Brooks, Devin Neal, and Damian Martinez. So the NFL must like him for something.
They like him for something. I guess they like him for something. What am I gonna do? I am confused. I don't know what to do. What team is this that we're drafting for?
This is your Judkins, Shough, and Jalen Noel roster.
Judkins, Shough, Jaylen Noel. It really only has one running back. It really does deserve one more running back. Whew. You know what I'm going to go with? I'm going to go Jacory Krosky-Merritt. Yes. Jacory Krosky-Merritt. That's the direction I'm going. He's explosive. Don't really know much more about him. Not super productive. We don't have a lot of data on him.
He's a good back, man. I saw him at the Shrine Bowl. This guy played one game this last year. He transferred in from New Mexico State. Played one game, got screwed by the NCAA waiver, and he was the best back at the Shrine Bowl. And
I love it. That's a great pick.
Yeah, no, it was. It was a guy that I had on my marker for one of these last few picks. He's going to go in there. It's going to sound like a joke, but Jeremy McNichols was like the third back in Washington last year.
Yeah.
Chris Rodriguez. This is Krosky-Merritt's going to be the third running back with Eckler and Robinson. So I like that. All right. 4-9. I got Loveland, Blue, and Royals on this roster. And I'm just going to lean into this Dallas backfield. It's a 4th round pick. And, in a real draft, everyone's not going to have their exact same pick. But in this draft, I'm going to hypothetically take Phil Maffa in Dallas. Phil Maffa is just a brute of a human being from Clemson, 235 pounds, didn't run. Don't think he's that fast. He's probably a lot closer to Chris Brooks than anything positive. Who was a 7th round pick that went to the Dolphins a few years ago. Phil Maffa, 7th round pick. I'm just going to hedge this Dallas backfield with Jayden Blue, and if Maffa somehow gets opportunities, then I have him on the taxi.
Let's go Damian Martinez. We're just looking at running backs that got drafted and that could have roles. Damian Martinez, not sure why he slid so far in the NFL draft. Do you know why?
I wish I knew why, because I love him.
Yeah, I think he's a fun player. Young, and he's the type of grinder back that is going to get in there and be, Jordan Howard for a period of time. If he's given opportunity, why not? You can see there's been, a groin injury every year for Kenneth Walker. And guess what happens? Kenneth Walker goes down this year. It's not just going to be the Zach Charbonnet show anymore. There's no more free square Charbonnet in DFS. It's going to be Charbonnet, but there's also going to be plenty of Damian Martinez carries between the 20s and maybe even the goal line. So I'm going Damian Martinez because also Kenneth Walker could be gone next year. He has 1 year left on his deal. So this seems like one of those hidden upside plays, similar to your Jarquez Hunter pick.
It's my last pick here, 4-11. I got Egbuka, Mason Taylor, and Brashard Smith, so I've hit every position outside of quarterback, and I'm not clicking the quarterback button here. I might go back to running back. If I was, maybe I should take your guy, Nate McCrary from Saginaw State. Remember him from a couple of years ago? He's in the UFL. He just scored a touchdown.
Hey.
I don't know if he still qualifies, but I could consider him here. I need a back, man. But this roster's in flux, man. I was a runner up in the championship, and I had putrid backfield, man. Jordan Mason saved my season here. I'm not going to go running back. There's not enough here. I'm going to go Ty Felton, wide receiver, Minnesota Vikings. He's a guy that was drafted literally.
I wanted him.
He's just, speaking of falling, I just don't know if he fell more than people just don't care. And I'm not talking about our draft particularly, but he's a Senior Bowler, 3rd round pick, 186 pounds. He fits the archetype almost, 4.37. If there was going to be a guy that, was a Shakir, potentially up to again, not going to comp this, but, Shakir, Alec Pierce, Nakua, where he just kind of was a good football player and 600 yards. It's Ty Felton as the wide receiver 3 in Minnesota, and I don't think they're going to be able to keep Jordan Addison on this roster long term. So in 2 years, he could potentially be wide receiver 2.
It's good. I'm going to do something where I'm going to break the rules a little bit. I'm not picking 2 players necessarily. Okay,
I'll allow it.
but I want to flag plant a player. And this player is going to be rising up the Dynasty rankings. So if you all have the Dynasty rankings, a couple players are going to be rising up the Dynasty rankings. Jalen Royals, you know, he fell too much post-draft. He's going to be rising up the Dynasty rankings. Not too much, but a little bit. Ayomanor, Royals, there was a little bit of an overreaction there post-draft. So those guys are going to be coming back up. Same thing with Felton. And the last of the receivers that are going to get a little bit of a bump a week post-draft based on, you know, where they're going and it's just based on Dynasty demand, ADP. We're going to bump these guys up a little bit. I'm going to flag plant Ricky White. Ricky White is an interesting player. He's one of these R.C. Fisher specials where he's just a good player. He's not super fast. I think the athleticism and the fact that he played at UNLV held him back. But, I mean, he was super productive. Has a 1,400-plus yard season. Has a 10-touchdown season. I don't know why he fell. It could be anything. Who knows? But I think if there was a dart to throw in the 4th round, for me, it would be a guy like Ricky White. Just close your eyes and throw the dart. This feels very Bo Melton to me. I'm not going to draft him. But I'm saying if I needed a receiver and I had to draft him, that's not my last pick. But I want to make sure I flag plan on him because at the end of the day, this is a mock draft. And if you don't draft guys based on market demand and ADP, who's available, you're doing it wrong. And I have to end the slide. We can't get into the 5th round with Harold Fannin Jr. still around. Can't do it. Won't do it. Can't do it. I'm taking Harold Fannin. It's the right play. It's the right move. This team did not draft a tight end yet. It's tight end premium. He should have gone a round ago at least. I think this was just an oversight by us. We don't like him. He's going to be competing with David Njoku on a terrible team. Longer term, though, this is a monster producer. And if you know, he and Aronde Gasson both interesting. We're talking about 1,500+ yards. So I mean, at the tight end position. I mean, this is like Tyler Warren type production, but he was at Bowling Green. But regardless, I like him. Did you not like him at the Senior Bowl? Is that why you didn't draft him?
I like him.
So you do like him. You just was it an oversight? Why didn't you pick him?
Can I be honest?
Yeah.
It's not. Alex forgot to put him on the cheat sheet.
Oh!
I just texted him right now. I said, Alex, not only did you spell Elic Ayomanor's name wrong, you forgot to put Harold Fannin on the cheat sheet.
Alex Dunlap can suck it. Hey, I want to take a moment to thank you for tuning in. It's important to me that all of our media be free. This is only possible because of you allowing a true independent sports media enterprise to thrive unlike any other in the business. So please subscribe to the All In Package to continue to make all of this possible, to ensure that all of our stats, information, data, content is available to you, especially you, the people that get the site and get the show.